Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most relevant and important news of the day will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 8th of February. The first topic is demand for universalizing the maternity benefit scheme. We'll see the detail about the scheme and the government recent amendment. Second, operations to curb trafficking has been launched. See the detail of this and how this is going to help in terms of reducing the trafficking in our country. Third, Finance Ministry has urged industries to be Team India in. The second slide is benefit of COVID-19 outweighed risk. So vaccine is something which is inevitable for the protection of human being. And the last is an editorial, a self-reliant pharma industry, right? So we'll understand the detail of this editorial, what are the roadmap that is essentially required for the pharma industry in our country. Apart from this, at the end of this video, there will be some MCQ based question. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. And something about our app, we have launched the newest version of our app, that is 2.0. A lot more other facilities also there. You can check it out. मैंने वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में इसके लिंक दिए हुए, आप ज़्यादा जानकारी वहाँ से चेक कर सकते हैं. You can even download the app from that particular link. Now let's get started with the news discussion. The first news is demand for universalization of maternity benefit scheme. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2, Government Policies and Intervention for the development of various sector and issues arising from a design implementations. So what the government has decided recently, the government has announced जो maternity benefit program है government के प्रधान मंत्री मातृ वंदा योजना, this would be extended to cover the second child. But ये condition रखी गई है कि जो second child होगी वो सिर्फ गर्ल होनी चाहिए, तभी ये जो benefits हैं उसको extend की जाएगी, and the same benefit can be availed for the same girl child also. So if a boy child is born, the government is not going to benefit them, and जो beneficiaries के लिए जो amount sanction की गई है वो उनको नहीं मिलेगी. This is only applicable for the second child and that too with the girl. So इसी को लेकर के जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उन्होंने कंडेम किया एंड दे वांटेड कि यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन जो है वो अक्रॉस चिल्ड्रन होनी चाहिए, किसी जेंडर स्पेसिफिक के लिए नहीं होनी चाहिए, राइट. सो दिस इज व्हाट द न्यूज़ इज ऑल अबाउट, दैट देयर शुड बी there should not be any bifurcations and even a divided opinion in terms of any gender that is there. Now Mission Shakti, this is under the revamped प्रधानमंत्री मातृ वंदा योजना, जिसको मिशन शक्ति के अंदर रखा गया है. जो मेटर्निटी बेनिफिट्स होती हैं वो 6,000 की उनको मेटर्निटी बेनिफिट दी जाती है, एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो प्रोवाइडेड फॉर द सेकेंड चाइल्ड, बट ये सिर्फ गर्ल चाइल्ड के लिए अभी एप्लीकेबल होंगी. Now the intent behind the government discussion is to discourage the pre-birth sex determination and to promote the girl child. So many people in the regional area of our country go by the diagnosis, although ये criminal offense है, इसको करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने ऑलरेडी पीनल प्रोविजंस लगाए हुए हैं, बट बहुत जगह ऐसे हैं जो ये मैल प्रैक्टिसेस हो रही है. सो टू इंश्योर एंड टू डिस्करेज दिस टाइप ऑफ प्रैक्टिसेस, गवर्नमेंट हैज कम अप फॉर द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ द गर्ल चाइल्ड, एंड द टोटल अमाउंट दे वुड बी गेटिंग वुड बी 6,000 रुपीज, राइट. नाउ ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या क्या है इस स्कीम की एंड हाउ द बेनिफिट्स, जो अगर बात करें जो मॉनिटरी बेनिफिट्स मिलती हैं, दैट इज अगेन द डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर, डीबीटी के थ्रू उनके बेनिफिशरीज के बैंक अकाउंट में दी जाती है. एंड देयर इज अ 3 इंस्टॉलमेंट दैट इज बीइंग गिवन टू अ लेडी हु इज गिविंग अ बर्थ. द फर्स्ट इंस्टॉलमेंट की अगर बात करें, वंस सी रजिस्टर हरसेल्फ फॉर द प्रेगनेंसी, उस टाइम पे उसे 1,000 रुपीज़ की इंस्टॉलमेंट मिलती है उनके बैंक अकाउंट पे. नाउ द सेकेंड इंस्टॉलमेंट ऑफ दिस फंड इज गिवन आफ्टर द नेटल टेस्ट जो होती है 6 मंथ ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी में, वो जब फाइनल होगी देन 2,000 वुड बी क्रेडिटेड, and the final amount of 2,000 is given for the childbirth and vaccination of a newborn. So ये total जो sum है ये 5,000 हो रही है, मैंने आपको 6,000 बताया था, प्लस 1,000 जो मातृ सुरक्षा योजना है उसके थ्रू और दी जाती है. So the total amount that is given is 6,000 rupees for a pregnant mother till the child is born and the vaccination is completed. Now government has also added that one child, a girl child, would also be benefited under this scheme. So this is all about in this news. Now if you look into the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vanda Yojana, ये कौन सी स्कीम है, इसके क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट्स है, which is again relevant for your prelims examination. So this scheme is a maternity benefit program being implemented in all districts across the country, which is effective from 2017, right? So in many examination, they ask the year. So this would be relevant for any other competitive examination also. It is a centrally sponsored scheme being executed by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Ministry become very significant in the current affairs questions. स्कीम प्रोवाइड 5000 की जो बेनिफिट्स मैंने आपको इनिशियल बताया, उसके अलावे वो जो 1000 की बेनिफिट्स है वो जननी सुरक्षा योजना के थ्रू दी जाती है. And the amount is given in 3 installment that I have given the detail, right? First 1000, then 2 plus 2 is given to women. So this is how the entire scheme is being implemented across India. Now, the second news, operations to curb trafficking has been launched. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2, welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the state. So, in a recent decision, जो रेलवे प्रोटेक्शन फोर्स है, उन्होंने ये डिसाइड किया है कि एक नेशनल वाइड ऑपरेशन की जाएगी टू कर्ब द ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग. और इस इनिशिएटिव की, इस जो खास करके ऑपरेशन की गई है, उसका नाम रखा गया है ऑपरेशन आहट. So under this operation, a special team will be built और इनके डिप्लॉयड की जाएगी. जो लॉन्ग ट्रेन स्टेशंस के रूट्स हैं, ऐसी ट्रेन जो लंबी दूरी तय करते हैं, एट इज 2 डे, इवन सम ट्रेन इन इंडिया ट्रैवल टू 3 डे डिस्टेंस, राइट? तो ऐसे लंबे डिस्टेंस वाले ट्रेन में, लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस ट्रेन में एक रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चलाई जाएगी वेदर इट हैज found that the women and child are being trafficked by the clutches and even some other a complete chain of people who is lying behind this operation can be tracked out. तो एक प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स है जो कि रेलवे प्रोटेक्शन फोर्स इसको एग्जीक्यूट करेगी, ऑपरेशन आहट. दिस कैन बी अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मेनी अदर कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन एंड इवन यू कैन यूज दिस पॉइंट इन केस स्टडी इन द एथिक्स पेपर. Now, how it is going to be executed? What is Operation Ahat? So this is a Operation Ahat is a infrastructure and intelligence network create की जाएगी यहाँ पे, जहाँ पे एक information collections होगी. It will collate, it will analyze the clues from the victim. जो kingpins होंगे, उनके जो relatives होंगे, उनसे informations ली जाएगी, and this would be shared with the law enforcement agency. So first and foremost, they are creating a database, intelligence infrastructure to track any such incident that is taking place in terms of trafficking within the Indian Railways. तो RPF ने ये कहा है that they could act as a bridge cutting across the state and assist the local police in curbing this menace which is taking place across our country. Now, Cyber Cell would also start patrolling for social web and look into the digital footprint of human trafficking. So technology is something which would be aiding in this factor apart from the paramilitary forces, even you can say the RPF. The focus should also be given on the train originating from the district of Nepal, Bangladesh and Myanmar. Right? जो bordering region है, वहाँ से जितनी trains operate हो रही हैं, उन region पे खासा focus रखा जाएगा. Now, thousands of Indian persons from neighboring countries were trafficked every day. This is a report that we can see. And some destinations were forced to live in the slave. So, after they are being kidnapped or taken to any other place, उनके साथ जो बर्ताव है वो बहुत ही बुरी तरह से की जाती है. Even some report were also reported in the NCRB. So, the railway would operate. अगर इंडियन रेलवेज की बात करें, जो इंडिया में ऑलमोस्ट डेली बेसिस पे 21,000 ट्रेन है जो ऑपरेट करती हैं. And this is one of the most reliable source of transportation for citizen of our country, right? तो एक बहुत ही reliable और cost effective transportation medium है जो कि सारे लोग यूज़ करते हैं. तो यहाँ पे जो भी ट्रैफिकर्स होंगे, जो विक्टिम्स होंगे, उनको आइडेंटिफाई की जाएगी ऑपरेशन आहट के थ्रू, एंड the railway protection force would be protecting them. They would also be trafficking for illegal adoptions, organ transplantations, working in circus, begging and entertainment industries. So this victim who are kidnapped is being used in many other sectors, चाहे वो illegal adoptions की बात हो, organ transplantations हो, working in circus, begging और entertainment industries में ये लोगों को ज़्यादातर काम में लगाए जाते हैं. Even to some other sectors of child abuse has also been reported. Now, the other news, the finance minister has urged industries to be Team India in. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 3, Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. So what is important in this news? Recently, finance minister ने एक meeting किया है and she has said that the private sector need to join the government in terms of starting the investment, right? जो government की capital expenditure की push की गई है, उसके लिए government के साथ साथ जो private investment है वो काफ़ी important है. right? And this would retain India as a world fastest growing and major economy in year to come. So this is a long term measure which government has come up with, and they ensure कि जो प्री कोविड रिकवरी होगी, पोस्ट कोविड रिकवरी की अगर बात करें, this would be something very significant that would be helping the country in large. Now, the ministry has also asked the leader to do it a maximum benefit and join Team India. So, Team India is something which would be collaborative efforts by the government of India and the private players. And more emphasis has put on public investment in infrastructure. We have seen infrastructure development in terms of agriculture, health, and many other sectors. तो agriculture पे सरकार की वैसे भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा जोर है. And crowding and private investment is something which would take a leap in terms of providing and another growth for the Indian economy. Now, government की capital expenditure की अगर बात करें, it has risen up to 35%, which is around 7.5 lakh crore rupees for next fiscal year. This factual point is important for your exam, and it is estimated that economy is about to grow by 9.2% in this fiscal. और economic survey ने भी forecast किया है 8 to 8.5% of the growth rate that we can see in terms of GDP growth. Although the video of economic survey is also published in our YouTube channel, you can watch that. The detailed video has been published. Now, looking into the logistic and supply chain concern, definitely India has a logistic and supply chain concern. अगर बात करें infrastructure development की, if you talk about infrastructure, two important sector. The first is the health, and other is the roadways, and even agriculture infrastructure become very important in India, right? तो जिस टाइम पे देखी गई है इंडिया में ये काफ़ी डिस्कनेक्ट रही है, लॉजिस्टिक और सप्लाई चेन अभी भी इंडिया में उस लेवल पे नहीं है. इफ यू कंसिडर चाइना इज कंसिडर टू बी द एपिटोम ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक एंड सप्लाई चेन, बट इंडिया हैज़ टू बिल्ड फ्रॉम स्क्रैच, and all some startups are working in this regard, but we need to have a comprehensive plan in terms of logistic and supply chain. गवर्नमेंट ने ऑलरेडी नेशनल लॉजिस्टिक प्लान भी दिया है जिसमें 2030 तक बात की गई है कि हाउ द गवर्नमेंट वुड कम अप इन टर्म्स ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक एंड सप्लाई चेन डेवलपमेंट. नाउ इंडिया की लेंथ और ब्रेथ को समझते हुए ज़रूरी है कि इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर्स बनाया जाए सो दैट देयर कैन बी ईजी मूवमेंट एंड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. Now, the trap on the opportunity will definitely give the startup the sunshine sector. So, we have to ensure that logistic and supply chain in the longer run is something which is going to boom, and government adequately need to focus on this, give incentive to the startup who is coming with the logistic and supply chains. Now, the other news, benefits of COVID-19 vaccine outweigh risk. Now, the doctor is coming with the opinion that vaccine is something which is the only option to ensure that we are protected from the COVID-19 virus. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2, issues related to development and management of health. So the doctors, the expert and the healthcare expert has said that the benefit of COVID-19 vaccine has outweighed its known adverse reactions. खास करके जो vaccines के बाद एडवर्स इफेक्ट्स होते हैं फॉलोइंग इम्यूनाइजेशंस, उसको लेकर के बातें कही गई है लोकसभा में, दैट हाउ मेनी पीपल हैव डाइड आफ्टर द वैक्सीनेशंस. और वो वैसे लोग की डेथ हुई है जो कि कोमॉर्बिड के साथ है, राइट? कोमॉर्बिड प्लस वैक्सीनेशन एंड सम रिएक्शन हैज लेड टू दैट ऑफ सम इंडिविजुअल. बट अगेन the expert are of the opinion that some of the people who are reluctant to take vaccine should not do so, because vaccine is something which is only going to protect us from this COVID-19. Now, vaccination is the safest way to prevent the severe COVID-19 जो effects हैं, इसके जो infections हैं, not only in India but many other expert doctor from US like Dr. Fauci has also said that this is inevitable, we have to take the vaccine. And the adverse event की अगर बात करें, vaccinations could be like mild fever, body ache or headache. So ये कोई minor symptoms है, not for the COVID-19 vaccine. If you take any vaccine, no, it is something which is going to happen. So ये milder symptoms हर एक vaccines में होती हैं. The report of adverse vaccinations that include death not necessarily mean that vaccine has caused the health problem. There may be other reasons. There are no autoimmune response. Everything is taking place. We cannot pinpoint it, tell that this was the reason because of the vaccination has happened. But this is something which had to be ensured that not only because of the vaccine, because of the other level of interference that our body had with the comorbidities can also result in the death of an individual. Now, cases of death की अगर बात करें, ऑफिशियली जो यूनियन हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री, उन्होंने अपने रिस्पॉन्स में लोकसभा में ये कहा that as of January 30, 2022, a total of 70,102 cases were reported of the death. Among that, basically 66,315 the Covaxin और कोविशील्ड की, कोवैक्सीन की 6,757 एंड स्पुतनिक 30 were the response that we have seen. And in this particular जो डेथ रिपोर्ट की गई है दैट इज 1113, और ये नंबर्स हैं कोविशील्ड के, कोवैक्सीन के, और स्पुतनिक में कोई भी डेथ रिपोर्ट नहीं की गई, राइट. So this is what the official figure coming from the health ministry, and the ministry has added that the case of after immunizations के जो response है were monitored through the well structured robust system. There is a guideline that is being implemented in each hospital and vaccination center across the country. Now the other news, this is an editorial, a self-reliant pharma industry. This particular news is important for General Studies paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sector and issues arising from it. So this editorial is written by Reggie Joseph and Rama Arun Kumar, and they were actually working with the faculty as ISIT, right? So इनकी जो views है वो personal है, but this is something very important editorial in terms of providing a roadmap to the pharma industry. So what I'm going to discuss under this editorial, the first is the self-reliant pharma industries, production link incentive pharma, creating confidence among investors, achieving the price competency in productions, and the way forward. तो पूरी editorial में जो focus रखी गई है that is for the roadmap for the pharma sectors. So first thing first, अगर बात करें इंडिया की pharmaceutical industry की, this is the world third largest drug producer by volume. So India is the world third largest country. और अगर मार्केट की बात करें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेसिटी में ग्लोबली, सो इंडिया मैन्युफैक्चर ऑलमोस्ट 60% ऑफ द वैक्सीन ग्लोबली, राइट. सीरम इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडिया is among one of the world largest manufacturers of the vaccines. So these are some of the factual points which you can use in essay also. फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री की बात करें, की सेक्टर है जो कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत प्रोग्राम के अंदर इंक्लूड की गई है. एंड इवन इफ यू सी दिस पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर, अगर एफडीआई इन्फ्लोज की बात करें, from 2000 to 2019, it has received around 16.2 billion. That is expected to rise during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, if you'll see the PLI scheme, that is Production Link Incentive Scheme for Pharma, this has to do some more important aspects, right? जहाँ पे अगर PLI scheme की बात करें, गवर्नमेंट ने कोशिश की है that PLI scheme has to come up in such a manner that it is actually benefiting the pharmaceutical industries. So the objective of first PLI scheme in this sector was to reduce the import. The first and foremost target under the PLI scheme was to import and discourage the export for the medicines. और किन किन चीज़ों पे? The first is active pharmaceutical ingredient जिसको API कहते हैं. उसके बाद drugs intermediaries that is DI and key steering material that is also known as KSM. So what government wanted that this PLI scheme should discourage all these three things because we want that India में हमारे पास अपनी manufacturing hubs हो. Now the scheme was expected to attract a lot of interest as countries has begun to adopt and reduce the dependence on China in terms of API or you can say active pharmaceutical ingredient. However, जो response आई है with this scheme की has not met the expectations. So that is why I'm telling the PLI scheme है for the pharma sector has to do more in terms of reducing the import and dependence on China. Now, creating confidence among investors would be very important if you want to make India आत्मनिर्भर in terms of pharma sector. तो ये जो investors हैं इनके साथ हमें confidence building measures करनी होगी. And a recent study conducted by the Institute of Studies and Industrial Development that shows that India need a strategy to realize the objective and import dependence के हमें क्या क्या चीज़ें करनी है उसकी बात कही गई है. And there are 3 ways that I'll be discussing with you जहाँ पे PLI स्कीम में और कुछ ज़्यादा modifications की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी so that it is actually working with all its best possibilities, right? जो optimization है PLI स्कीम की उसको किस तरह से की जा सकती है उसके लिए 3 important measures बताए गए हैं, area identify किए गए. So the first area is technology. Technology in this sector is inevitable. You have to upgrade the technology and this is very crucial in terms of reducing the import dependence. अगर बात करें टेक्नोलॉजी की लाइक एक्टिव फार्मास्यूटिकल इंग्रेडिएंट हैं, ड्रग्स इंटरमीडियरीज हैं और की स्टार्टिंग मटेरियल्स हैं, ये जितनी चीज़ें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो रही है सो दे बियर देयर चाइनीज काउंटर पार्ट इन प्राइसिंग, राइट. डेफिनेटली चाइना प्रोवाइड अ वेरी कम्पिटिटिव प्राइस एंड द रीजन बीइंग दिस PLI स्कीम डज नॉट हैव अ टेक्नोलॉजी कंपोनेंट. तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी कंपोनेंट के लैकिंग होने की वजह से स्टिल चाइना इज अ मेजर प्लेयर इन टर्म्स ऑफ इम्पोर्ट. And the reason being we are somewhere inclined towards buying the product from China. So first and foremost that we need to upgrade our technology. Second aspect is a new manufacturing facilities that is essentially required, और इस तरह के businesses में हमें जो manufacturing capacity है उन्हें enhance करने की ज़रूरत है. Many firms used to produce this product to have own production cheaper than flowing from China. So at this point of time, every investor want कि जो उनकी चाइना से इंपोर्ट हो रही है उससे कम के प्रोडक्शंस में वो इंडिया पे अपनी स्टैब्लिशमेंट लगा पाए. Now, the third is the history of the development of indigenous pharmaceutical industry in India, which has played a very significant role, right? अगर बात करें ट्रेड और साइंस की तो टेक्नोलॉजी पॉलिसी इज वेरी क्रूशियल एंड इवन द PLI स्कीम विच वॉज रिसेंटली लॉन्च्ड और इसमें कोशिश ये की गई है आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाने की. तो ये एक स्टैंड अलोन मेजर्स जो है इस तरह की पॉलिसीज में काम नहीं आएगी. इट हैज़ टू बी कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट्स विद ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, न्यू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटीज एंड दिस इज बैक्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स, राइट. तो ये तीनों की कॉम्बिनेशन होनी चाहिए, देन ओनली दिस सेक्टर कैन come up with full potential. Now, achieving the price competency in productions, this is something very important. अगर firms की बात करें इंडिया में, they see a prospect where producing the price cheaper than the cost of import. जो cost of import है उससे कम होनी चाहिए productions में, then only they'll be benefited. And cheaper import from China are very critical in maintaining their global competitiveness. And a turnover on the pharma industries from the export has to be also looked upon. बात करें import from China, it is considered to be 35 to 40% cheaper compared to the indigenous produced in India. तो इस तरह से जो इंडिया में प्रोड्यूस हो रही हैं हमारी इंडिजिनसली प्रोडक्शंस उससे इंपोर्ट हमें कम पड़ती है 30 to 40%. So this is a reason being the industries and other people are reluctant in terms of investing and producing. So far any strategy in achieving the self-reliance could focus on active price and competency and productions. Now, what is a way forward in this? The first thing that you have to write in way forward is that nearly 3/4 of the production in pharmaceutical in India is a part of the micro, small and medium enterprises. So MSME की contributions काफ़ी ज़्यादा है और जो policy makers हैं they are interested in taking advantages. किस तरह के advantages? By scaling up their firms, उनकी enlargement हो, उनकी expansions हो, this can only be backed. और ये जो PLI scheme है वो इसमें बहुत हद तक मदद कर सकती है. But equally, it is very important that some important production segment or element, you can say, the components, the ingredient like active pharmaceutical ingredients, drug intermediaries, and key starting material can be playing a very significant role. However, जो APIs हैं, they may not be of great public health because अभी भी अगर बात करें जो APIs हैं वो खास करके ऐसे सेल किए जाते हैं कि उनके केमिकल बेसिस पे सेल होती है, किसी ब्रांड नेम पे नहीं सेल होती. द रीजन बिंग यहाँ पे API को लेकर के भी थोड़ी डिसरेस्पेक्ट देखी गई है. In such cases, the public sector enterprises could be tasked with the production of KSM, DI, APIs. So we have to see that how the production of all three, that is active pharmaceutical ingredient, drug intermediaries or key starting material has to come up in all MSI ताकि जितने भी MSMEs हैं उनमें पूरी तरह से मिल सके. And government should aid them in active productions of all these three items so that the dependence on China can come to a lowest end. So this was a way forward that you can include in your answer if you write in mains paper. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I start, just to tell you the answers of yesterday question. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question also, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ, आपको बताना है SANDES क्या है. The GNI enabled tracking system, social security for differently able, instant messaging app of Government of India, and a news of fertilizer developed by ICR in New Delhi. So do check it out, which among the following is the correct option. Second, SAT के बारे में बताना है. SAT is Securities Appellate Tribunal. SAT is a statutory body established under the provision of SEBI Act, and the presiding officer of SAT shall be appointed by the president, right? So you need to check which among the following is the correct options, and if not, you need to read it in detail, right? So this was all about the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQs. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.